What are the biggest gambling SEO trends as we come to the end of 2025 and enter 2026, where SEO is still alive and well, but of course, always changing? Now, the online gambling niche has always been massive for digital marketing and especially SEO, where a lot of paid ads tend to be a lot more difficult and also very expensive. And that's always the advantage with SEO, whether it's the law niche, gambling, finance, insurance. If you can rank in one of these niches where the paid ads are so expensive because of the competition, then there's immense value to be had there. On the other hand, there's plenty of markets and niches where you might as well just do paid ads. But every year, gambling and iGaming, that still comes up as one of the hottest niches in SEO. So what's working right now? I've had another big run of conferences this year and spoken to a lot of top gambling SEO experts. And here are some of the biggest takeaways that still stand out. So here we are. The first major gambling SEO trend I want to give you today is basically international markets. And what you'll find is a lot of global gambling companies, their biggest interest now is being able to penetrate markets where it's much more difficult to promote gambling. Now, I'm being purely objective here. I'm not suggesting anyone should break any laws. I am merely reporting what is actually happening in places. And that is, in countries where gambling is illegal, there's still a huge appetite for gambling. And so there's VPNs and all kinds of ways that both online gamblers and online gaming providers can actually get around those laws. And so there are some unscrupulous companies out there that are desperate to get into these markets and rank. Obviously, paid ads is out of the question, but it goes even further than that because your SEO project itself can also get blocked or banned. And so what you find speaking to SEOs who are in these kinds of markets, they're talking about churn and burn projects that really minimize the cost to rank because they want to get in and get out. There's no guarantee that site is going to last. So for the record, I do not advise going and breaking the laws of any countries like that, and you might well get in hot water for it. Some of the tactics these guys use are extremely creative. I heard one story, for instance, where in Germany, the authorities are actually checking on these gambling sites are based on desktop browsers in a particular town, and therefore, at least at the time, a lot of the people operating in that space would simply block desktop traffic from that particular location, or block the whole location overall. But it's that point about minimizing the cost to rank, how do you compete in a really competitive market without spending a lot of money, that brings me on to our number 2 big SEO, and that is expired domains. Now, how does this work? Basically, any company can build up an online presence, and maybe not even a company, maybe it was a conference or a festival. For whatever reason, someone bought a domain and they promoted that website. They got lots of links into that website, those valuable backlinks, and increased their overall domain rating, how powerful their website. And that is a vital ranking factor for Google. But then for whatever reason, they let that domain expire. So maybe they got acquired, maybe they went out of business, maybe it was just a temporary event. Maybe it was some conference where they had 2019 in the domain name, so obviously they didn't renew that. And what you find is the internet is littered with these domain names. They've got all these links still pointing at them, and those links are extremely valuable. Most SEO agencies like mine tend to sell those links, where we conduct outreach to try and negotiate with webmasters to get backlinks to our client's site, to push them up to the Google rankings, and they're so valuable, we're talking around $500 per link in a lot of cases. Whereas with an expired domain, you've got all of that baked in as a fundamental value. Some of these domains have got hundreds, maybe even thousands of backlinks. They're literally impossible to get by any other means, because if you reach out to BBC or The Guardian, they're probably not going to link to you, but some of these websites have those links. And because of that, they've got a big domain rating. Those domains can rank really well. Now, obviously, it's fantastic if you can get a specifically gambling related, but actually what a lot of casino SEOs have been finding, especially if you're targeting another location, a lot of time it's just about the power. So especially if you're targeting a foreign language location that's not in English, there's a good chance it's going to be running an older Google algorithm where it's much more about power rather than just the relevance of that domain. So you can literally buy one of these domains and then just fill it with AI content and be able to rank very quickly in foreign locations. On that note, don't forget Google is not a vacuum. On that point about different markets where regulations might be different, sometimes you can find it is impossible to get backlinks in some of these locations because the webmasters linking to you don't want to link to you because then they're breaking the law and promoting a gambling product. But at the end of the day, whatever affects you also affects all your competitors. So if we look at online casino Indonesia, traffic potential of 700, a lot of that is coming from the US. So is that VPN traffic Or is it expats abroad who are in the US? I don't know. But there's always this question of how many links do you need from an actual location in order to rank in that location? And a lot of the time I normally say to clients, you want around 20 to 30%. If you look at the backlink profiles of your competitors, you'll probably find, if you're in the UK for instance, 20 to 30% of their backlinks come from .co.uk domains. The rest will be international.com websites. The internet is global. You don't need to worry too much about localization. But if you're in a niche where no one else can get local links, then the chances are you can't get local links either. But what you do find is a lot of them are buying up these expired domains and either rebuilding them as sites or redirecting them onto their websites to send all that power from the old website to your website. There's plenty of businesses built on finding these powerful expired domains and then selling them to you, saving you all the effort of crawling and qualifying to try and find those good domains for yourself. So there's Odys and there's SEO.domain, and there's a few others out there as well. But increasingly, what a lot of people are finding is backlinks just aren't enough in a lot of cases, especially when you're very restricted on the kinds of backlinks you can build. Even in places like the UK, the US, gambling links are extremely expensive. Most webmasters will basically set aside separate pricing, so while anyone else can get a link relatively cheaply, anyone who's in gambling, it could be 3 times the cost. So here's a good example for you. I just went into one of our outreach accounts. Remember, we've got a whole team reaching out day in, day out, trying to find high quality backlinks for our clients. And it's very common that webmasters will get back to you because they do get these requests quite often, and they'll basically have a menu. They'll have a price list. And this is very standard. General post, $70, but casino, gambling, dating, that's $195. Then we have other categories like Forex, crypto, binary options, CBD, $95. So for whatever reason, casino and gambling is always right at the top of the tree with a price that's double the rest of their other slightly grey categories and more than double of just a general post. And it's because of all these restrictions on link building that many gambling SEOs are starting to switch. Now we've seen from recent Google leaks that Google highly prioritizes user signals, and increasingly Google is looking at behavior on the page. So when someone does a Google search, where do they go, how long and how do they interact with that website, and where do they go next? Do they go back to the search result, or do they stay on that website and what we call terminate the search, which means Google has satisfied that user. So many SEOs have exploited this through what's called CTR manipulation, where you can use tools, bots, or even paid humans to actually go and search your keywords and click on results and reinforce that user behavior to push you higher up the Google rank. But actually what has been proving most effective is actually triggering Google's viral signals. Now you've probably noticed in the past that when there's a big trending news story or viral topic, it tends to be very easy to find content about Google. It is in Google's interest to surface trending content. So for that reason, if you can send a lot of traffic to a URL that looks like it's coming from social media, then the rankings of that particular URL can absolutely explode. And that's what we've been offering through our click bomb strategy, where we send around 5,000 clicks that look like viral social media. And people were always saying, is this? The fact is, it's indistinguishable from if you'd blown up on Twitter or someone posted in a massive Facebook group about. All those clicks from social media are a massive vote of confidence in your site, just like a backlink. So what we find is any client we send this click bomb to, their rankings go through the roof. And this isn't about keywords, this is about the URL. We take that full URL. It does need to be ranking well already, ideally within the top 30, but if you send that much traffic to that URL, everything that URL ranks for over the next couple of days is going to explode. So in this case, an insurance client was stuck at position 27 for a keyword that gets searched 15,000 times a month, and yet after the click bomb rocketed up to position 11. And we have found this has been extremely popular with online casinos. It's definitely trending in the casino niche, but it's also really effective for the casino niche, because rather than spending however many $100 webmasters want for a guest post, you can simply send all those viral clicks, get that massive ranking boost, and then when it dies off again after a week, just order again. It's cheaper than link building for a much bigger effect. And remember, the whole point about link building is you're building this asset up over time, and that's still perfectly valid and true, but with online casinos, churn and burn can often be a much faster approach. Whether you're in a niche where you might get banned quickly, maybe you're doing Parasite SEO and using a Reddit thread, something like that, the chances are it's in your interest to spend a few $100s up front, rank very quickly and high, and then just repeat, keep on renting that traffic each week, rather than investing in heavy link building when your Reddit thread could get blown up or your whole website could get taken down within a few months. So this online casino stuck on page 2 and 3, and we got them onto page 1. And you can see the result to the traffic was basically from 0, because once you're off page 1, there's not really any traffic to you, and they went up to 1,500 traffic within just a few days. And it does die off, but even that dying off takes a few days, so you do actually maintain that traffic for a decent amount of time. And I mentioned about Reddit. Let's make no mistake, Reddit Parasite SEO is still alive and well. In fact, in the background, I've been working on some very powerful new methods for it, so we'll have more on that coming soon. Don't forget to subscribe for that. But it is still possible to rank Reddit threads, and it is possible to get your gambling affiliate link into Reddit. Here's just one example I briefly found. Best online UK casino. You can see this one's now been archived, so new comments can't be added, but you can see this page is getting 400 visitors per month. And there's barely any content on here. This is not some amazingly SEO optimized article. It's a very simple question, and then in the comments, someone's able to get their URL in. So whoever did that, they're still getting around 400 impressions a month to that link. And that's just one example. So for Reddit threads, we've found this highly effective. Now, generally we say only buy a click bomb if you're already ranking within the top 30. So first 3 pages of, but in this case, we had a client, we posted a Reddit thread for them. The search volume was 500,000 searches per month. And this Reddit thread wasn't ranking anywhere, it wasn't in the top 100. And yet we did one click bomb. They ranked at number 2, and so we got them 200,000 visitors per month. Now, the higher the volume, obviously there's more engagement generally on that search result. Your competitors are getting lots of clicks as well, so click bomb does tend to be short-lived, so dies off after a couple of days. But then we just click bomb again, and up it came again. So annoyingly, if you're in a big niche, lots of traffic, lots of value, you do need to keep on click bombing regularly to maintain that effect. But the chances are you're going to be making so much money it doesn't even matter. But don't take my word for it. If you want to try ClickBomb today, then click the link below. As long as you're ranking in the top 30 already, then we do offer a money-back guarantee. If we don't improve your Google ranking with a single ClickBomb, then we're going to do it again. In fact, we'll try it 3 or 4 times before we give up, and even then we're going to give you your full money back. So as long as you're on the first 3 pages of Google, if your URL does not improve, and remember every keyword it ranks for should go up. You can see this example, tenant insurance, 15,000 searches a month. They jumped up from 27 to 11, but tenant insurance also ranks for renter's insurance with 6,000 searches a month, and they went from position 77 to position 15. So if you don't get a result like this, we'll keep on repeating it until you do, and even if we fail, which doesn't happen often, then it's a full money back. So I'll leave a link below, but if you are a gambling brand or a gambling affiliate, the chances are you're going to want to repeat this regularly, so we do have wholesale pricing available for purchases in bulk. So if that is interest to you, then you can claim your ClickBomb Enterprise Strategy Call. So just click the link below and click the button, fill in your details here, and we should be able to give you volume pricing on ClickBomb, so that just like our Reddit client, you can then have multiple ClickBombs per week and keep your ranking at the top of Google and keep on harvesting all of that revenue.